And ladies and gentlemen, we are about to go into and witness the Warrens Occult Museum. It is a traveling museum this year, and they have artifacts from Ed and Lorraine's personal collection, including Annabelle herself. And just outside the entrance here, they have this display that you can get pictures with that replicates Annabelle's case. Warning, positively do not open. The Satanic Ritual Skull. Authentic human skull used by satanic cults to practice black magic. Satanists seek out animals and humans, gods, creations, to sacrifice their souls to the devil for personal gain and power. Right here is the New England witch doll. It is made in the victim's image to curse them. The crossbeam is from a familiar object used by the victim, such as a piece of their chair. A chunk of pork is attached to the doll, and as the meat rots, the victim's body also deteriorates. It would be hung outside the victim's bedroom in a bush or a tree. Oh! Creepy. This here is the voodoo doll. It is from Africa. It is a doll made to resemble its victim. Pins would be stuck in the doll to paralyze the victim. Usually, hair clippings and toenail clippings of the victims are also incorporated within the doll. This here is the World War I shoe and skeleton foot. This World War I era shoe with skeletal remains was found in the 1960s near the town of Nancy, France. The shoe and human foot were taken by an archaeologist and later given to a private collector and placed in their collection of oddities. The energy around this artifact is said to be very strong. There are witness claims of tapping on the glass and movement from within the case. Donated by the Thomas family of Gettysburg, PA. September 27th, 2024. This here is an authentic Lorraine Warren skirt and hair bow, worn by Lorraine Warren for decades. This skirt captures her unique signature fashion style that she is known for. So that was worn by Lorraine Warren. The Eastern Airlines Flight 401 remnants. Eastern Airlines Flight 401 was a scheduled flight from New York JFK to Miami. Shortly before midnight on December 29, 1972, the L-101 TriStar crashed into the Florida Everglades, leaving 101 fatalities. Various parts of the wreckage were salvaged and installed in other planes. As a result, paranormal sightings of Captain Robert Loft, First Officer Albert Stockstill, and Flight Engineer Donald Repo were witnessed and reported on these planes. So that is a piece of the plane there. So this here is the Shadow Doll. This doll, which was used to curse people, was crafted from a number of items such as animal bones, feathers, and a human tooth. It worked like this. A photo of the doll was taken and the name of the victim was written on the back. A spell would be cast over the photo, which would then be sealed in an envelope and sent to the victim. When the victim opened the envelope and looked at the photo, the curse was placed. And then so on and so forth. This here is the Book of the Dead, Necronomicon, a fictional tale of magic spells based on ancient grimoires. This here is the toy dinosaur. It's a simple child's toy that was assembled by David Glatzel, who was possessed by demons as a small boy. Witnesses saw the toy move across the family's home's floor, where a voice was heard saying, "You are all going to die." The demon moved from David to Arnie Johnson after Arnie challenged it. The Warrens believed He was under demonic possession when he stabbed and killed his landlord. The famous case was later turned into the movie The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. That's wild. Here is the Amityville keychain. This is part of the actual keychain handed to Ed Warren by George Lee Lutz for the Amityville Horror House investigation. Right there. There's the house and there's photos. This here is the vampire coffin. A young man fashioned himself as a vampire and would sleep in the coffin by day and leave it at night, roaming the streets looking for his next victim. He was what is called a human vampire. This here is the Devil's Sword. The sword was purchased on the black market by a collector who immediately began to experience demonic activity. The man suffered serious demonic oppression until he sought out the assistance of the NESPR and turned the sword over to the Warren's Occult Museum in 2021. Wow. Over here we have some shrunken heads. Shrunken heads, or Tasantas, were made by Shore and Achuar people who lived in the rainforest of Ecuador and Peru. They are created by pulling back the skin and hair of a human male enemy, discarding the bones, brain, and other matter. Woo! And over here we have the African fertility dolls. These dolls represent fertility and good luck even when used by young girls as a way to prepare for motherhood. The legend of the Ashanti doll claims that the bearer of an Akuaba fertility doll will give birth to a beautiful child that is 24 inches long. This is one of the craziest things they have in here, not saying that everything else isn't, but still. This here is the Conjuring mirror. This mirror was used in a psycho-momentum in a attempt to reach out to dead loved ones. For weeks, a man from New Jersey sat gazing into this mirror in a dark room with only a dimly lit red light. Eventually, sinister monstrosities appeared in the glass, driving the man to near insanity. The man contacted Ed Warren and asked him to take it away. This is the Conjuring mirror here. The child's coffin. This tiny coffin was used to display the bodies of young children at funerals in the early to late 1800s. Nicer coffins like this were used multiple times for viewing at funerals. After the funeral, the body would be removed and placed in a less expensive plain box for burial. This here's a baboon head. This artifact was used in black witchcraft rituals before being secured by Ed Warren. This here is the Satanic Idol. Located in the woods of Sandy Hook, Connecticut by a hunter, this handmade statue was used by a high-ranking Satanist priest to perform rituals. Shortly after Ed took possession of the idol, Lorraine was stricken with a strange illness which left her hospitalized for days. Ed claimed this was a warning from the satanic priest. Imagine finding that in the woods. This board here says the Estes method. The Estes method is a paranormal investigation technique that involves using sensory deprivation and a spirit box to communicate with potential spirits in a given location. This painting by Wade Kirby is based on a Thomas Demko photograph of NESPR team leader Dan Rivera during a live investigation at the Gettysburg Orphanage in 2024. So, right there. So before I show you the real Annabelle, ladies and gentlemen, this is an actual screen-used Annabelle doll. It is from the movie Annabelle Comes Home, and it was gifted to the Warren's Occult Museum in the fall of 2019 by Warner Brothers Pictures. So that is the actual doll from the movie. Oh my god, it's too freaking cool. And right here in this case beside the movie Annabelle is the real Annabelle doll, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at that. There is some articles there, some gloves, and the board right there that talks about possessions and stuff. But right there, this doll is what inspired those movies. Wild. So here at the Warren Occult Museum merch booth, they have t-shirts, hoodies, books, seekers pens, decals, dog tags, shot glasses, and posters. Follow them on social media, of course. But this is some of the shirts and stuff that they have.